It's Saturday, April 25th, and we are right at 1 week away from third day being in Birmingham. I'm Jennifer Rash with Tab Media Group, and we are covering a little bit of third day as well as lots of news coming out of the state, just around the state, really. And then some more information about God stories. Are you seeing God at work in your daily life? Again, Jennifer Rash with Tab Media Group. Thanks for joining us. We'll be with you for the next half hour, and we look forward to just catching up. Back to third day. So, we reported in the Alabama Baptist just a few days ago about third day celebrating their 30th anniversary, 30-year journey they have. They were formed in 1991 as a contemporary Christian rock band that has had incredible success by the world's standards. In fact, Billboard magazine named A Third Day one of the best rock bands, period. That was a quote. So, yeah, so it's been a little bit longer than 30 years, but let's see what we have to say here. Formed in 1991, they've been on major shows such as The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and 60 Minutes on CBS News. They have had 31 number one hits, lots of major awards. Our article, which was written by a correspondent, Tracy France, who works for us here at Tab Media Group, she was able to interview the group and talk with specifically Mac Powell, the band's lead singer and songwriter and founder of Third Day. And so she has some information that's really interesting. You can find this article at the alabamabaptist.org. Powell says, for us, there was an important message in the music. There were several of them, but the main thing was just to know that God has a great love for every one of us, no matter who we are, where we come from, what we've done or not done. He also said, God loves us, and we wanted to encourage people every night, and in fact, we still do. Third Day is back together for a 30th anniversary tour. All the hits celebrating their official nationwide breakthrough year in 1996. So that's where the 30 years comes in. The tour began March 19 in Jacksonville, Florida, and continues until May 10th in Atlanta. But they are stopping here in Birmingham on Friday, May the 1st. So that is next Friday. Zach Williams will be a special guest and opener. And I'm looking right now. We have some seats available still. There are some seats available. Not many though. So Friday, May 1, 7 o'clock, Legacy Arena at the BJCC. You can jump online through Ticketmaster to go ahead and get those tickets if you'd like to be part of that. And that is so exciting to see them come through. Wow, so many of us grew up with Third Day. So check that out and read more about what's going on and why they decided to come back together and just what they've been doing in the past few years. They did pretty much wrap up as a group in 2018. Just time to do something different. And so they are pretty excited, I think, about getting back together for this tour. So the alabamabaptist.org Third Day celebrates 30-year journey. Also, if you pop around on our site, the Alabama Baptist site, you'll see that there's several news events happening in the past few days. The former Judson College campus in Marion, Alabama, has a new owner. So Judson College itself is still actually um, official and still a thing. It's just currently not active. So they're going to figure that out along the way. But the campus itself has been sitting really quiet, really still for almost 5 years. And so this was big news to have someone who could purchase the campus and put it back to use and get some life there. And just seems like a good thing for the community. Granted, you always have to wait to see, but they have officially sold, Judson College has officially sold its campus, and the group Callan JMB, a logistics company out of Texas specializing in providing space for developing and storing pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and other resources, will operate out of the campus under the name Atlas Complex. So this announcement was made Monday, April 21 at noon from the steps of Jewett Hall. Several community members, leaders that have a vested interest gathered there at Judson College. I actually drove over to Marion, down, I guess, to Marion, and was part of that experience just to hear what might be happening and who was there, to see who's there and check in. It seemed like a lot of positive energy. The CEO of Callan JMB is Wayne Williams, and he was the one sharing along with some of the community leaders. And he seems like really excited to be in Marion. So he says that the campus was technically purchased by a private entity, and he shared with us that the entity is made up of himself and his brother-in-law, and then they're going to lease it back to the company, Callan J&B, in which Callum is Wayne serves as the CEO of Callum, and then the company then is going to operate the Atlas complex off this campus. Mr. Williams said, "We already feel like part of the family here in Marion. My wife and I, she's the managing director of the company, already see how the families that they're going to bring into the area are going to really touch base and be part of the community." He said that the family rootedness, the history rootedness, what I see is folks in Marion intermingling with these folks from India and other places, and together they would be developing a community spirit. India, Korea, those are the places where some of the manufacturing jobs are going to be moved back to the United States, and with that will come the workers, and with the workers will come their families. And so the campus provides this opportunity for the families to have a place as well as the employee. And so they're really working to make this a holistic type experience and make it more feasible to bring your family and to be just to live and be part of the community and for the community to get to know the people. And so the possibilities are just really endless about what this could mean for not only the town of Marion, but the entire county of Perry County and even the Black Belt region itself. Donald Bennett, president of Main Street Marion and chair of the Perry County Airport Industrial Authority, shared with me that he really is super excited about this new step because he said he and his wife moved to Marion in 2013, and they've been investing in it ever since, trying to build Marion the town up and just get things ready so that when something worked, they would be ready. And they were both very much excited to be part of the day. Donald said that Atlas Complex is a major piece to all the previous investment that's been made into the community. We have a quote that he has, "We already have an airfield and we are growing the downtown area. This is going to be a major piece that will tie into all of that," he said. "What they are doing with the pharmaceutical aspects, redistribution centers, and warehousing will help us expand that airfield. We also want this to be regional growth and are already working on a walking and biking trail that will help us all grow together," he said. And he went on and talked about different things that are actually already there. It made me want to go and check it out. So there's more happening than we realize sometimes. And then in their thoughts now, all of this is going to kind of tie together and make it click. So that was just fun to see the community be excited and ready. Marion is back. They said Marion is on the map. We're going to become a tourist destination. So it's going to be fun to watch to see what really does happen with this infusion of people and job opportunities and just activity in general, families coming in. Is it a case where people will say, I'm ready to move out of the big city or the larger town and come to where it's a little bit quieter, a little bit calmer? It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. Judson President Daphne Robinson acknowledged a range of emotions with all of this. As an alumna, she's sad, as they all are, that the college couldn't stay on the campus. But as president, she's relieved. She's been watching these buildings sit there lifeless for almost 5 years now. And so this is something that has been a pressure point, and she's so relieved. We are pleased with how everything turned out, she said, noting the proceeds from the sale were added to the Judson Foundation Fund. So there is a fund, the Foundation Fund for Judson, that will support Judson College, which is technically still open, just in a holding pattern. So what's going to happen? I don't know. They're still working on that. They're talking about it. The attorneys are involved. What can we do? Where are the boundaries? Um, but according to Robinson, we want to continue to educate young Christian women, she said. We are working to determine how that will look going forward. Robinson went on to say, Judson's still there. It's just in a different capacity. It's a reminder to me that God is not through with Judson. He has a different plan and reveals it to us as we are ready for it. God still has his hand on Judson and is preparing us for what he's got next for it. The full story is available at the alabamabaptist.org. It'll be in the next print edition as well. But as Daphne Robinson was talking and sharing with me how she just really believes that is slowly revealing what the next step is. It really took me to another conversation I've had recently, actually several conversations I've had recently, and that's with God stories. Is that really happening to all of us? I mean, everything that we're doing, could it be that even when it doesn't make sense, when we don't understand, when we've worked so hard for something to be a certain way and it just isn't working out, or it is working out, or it's working out even better than we thought. But could God be revealing, slowly revealing the next step? And if so, what should we be doing in those moments? Wow. How many of us fret and fret and fret about things? Or we worry, worry, worry? Or we try to force? How many times have we tried to force something to happen because we just truly wanted it that way or this way, or we believed it was supposed to be that way? Well, this is interesting. A friend of mine shared recently that fear will prevent us from remembering God's faithfulness. We God has been faithful. He always is faithful. He will be faithful, no question. We can't always see it. We can't always understand it, but he is faithful. We know that, right? We really do know that. But if fear creeps in, sometimes we forget that. And so as this whole story was playing out, I'm remembering my friends talking about their God stories and sharing everything from how a, something worked out to find a missing item that was left by accident in another state, and the timing of how another friend was going to be headed back to the same state at just the right time, and the meeting that was supposed to happen actually got shifted, the agenda got changed, and it all kind of played out in a way that that one item could be brought back to its owner without too much difficulty. And all of the things played in a way that only could have happened if God were working in that. And he's in every detail. God is working in all the details, even the small ones. If we talk about God stories, a lot of times we only want to tell the miracle stories, and those are amazing. God does so many miracles. Absolutely. He does some major stuff. But he also does some really tiny little things that all tie together. And how cool is that? You know, I'm afraid though we miss those. And so one of the things we emphasized in the last few years through our publications at Tab Media Group, and you can find out all about us, Tab Media Group, tabmedia.group, and you'll see our publications, the Alabama Baptist newspaper, the Baptist paper, the Kids edition, and all of our digital products. You can find all of that. But we put an emphasis in the Alabama Baptist and the Baptist paper a few years ago and just asked people to share their God stories. And I was anticipating some really amazing things. I couldn't wait. I was thinking, oh no, we're going to run out of space. Where am I going to put all this? Maybe I should not have asked for the God stories, because what in the world are we going to do when we can't fit them all in? Oh, and I was so disappointed. I think maybe two people, maybe three, sent me a God story. And I realized, I'm like, I think people are trying to make it be this amazing, powerful life turned around at an extreme level, saved from the falling off the cliff kind of thing, and never saw that just a little mm, daily routines and how God's working. There are God stories everywhere we turn and everything that we do. And so that was so sad for me and our team really, when we realized no one's telling us God stories. So we've been just praying on that, thinking about it, trying to figure out how can we help people know what a God story is, number one, and how can we actually start sharing our own God stories. And so, even in the news again this past week, we have a little God story that I'll share in just a moment. And then um, I just have some samples of different people sharing their various stories with friends to say, hey, here's how I saw God moving, and to see what that looks like. Have you seen God work in your life today? What are some routine things that only could work out because God was in the details? Is God gracious enough to be in the tiny details? Yes, yes, He's there. He's everywhere. And we miss it so many times. One of the news stories coming out this past week came from our own our own office. It's odd for us to have a news story about the Alabama Baptist because we're usually telling the stories and sharing the stories and reporting the stories, but this past week, the Alabama Baptist Incorporated, which is the parent company of all that we do through Tab Media Group, the Alabama Baptist newspaper, which is 183 years old, the Baptist paper, which is just right at 5 years old, the kids edition newspaper, an ecumenical newspaper for people of the Christian faith, but of all denominations, is only about 6 months old. And then all of our digital platforms, including podcast, YouTube channel, cartridges for the visually impaired, all the different things that we're doing that falls under the Alabama Baptist Incorporated. And we are a um, separate entity with our own board of directors. And we have lived in Homewood, Alabama at 3310 Independence Drive for the last 50 years. Our building just hit its 50th birthday, and we have decided to share our building. So we are going to be working through a leaseback agreement with Timberchase Financial, and all of that, how that worked, uh, opportunity, the fact that we were not looking to sell our building, the conversations we were having about future growth, the fact that the CEO and founder of Timberchase had been in this building as a child, the connections through our Stanford University connections, our international missions connections, our Baptist church, our families, different things that just kept tying our histories together, made this a true God story and how it all came together. So that story also is online at the alabamabaptist.org. It'll be in the print edition next week. But Timber Chase Financial will be purchasing the building and leasing back the top floor to our staff. So what a creative way, what an exciting way to get to still live at this beautiful, iconic is the way Brian Hancock described our building, and I love that. This beautiful, comfortable, convenient, iconic building. We get to stay and have a creative way to build future growth through our ministry assignment that we've been tasked with. And so I'm excited about what's happening in the future there. You can read all about the details, the alabamabaptist.org, and shout out to the local media who helped cover that as well. We appreciate all that you're doing. But again, a God story, a God story. How how are you seeing God work? Many of our stories, many stories that we cover through all of our content showcase how God's at work. They showcase the little tiny details of where he's tying people together. I have a friend that is relatively new friend, but one that has become a dear friend. And our paths crossed, many would say by accident, but I don't believe that. God brought her to my path, and it has been an amazing opportunity for both of us. She has some areas that I can help with, and I have some areas in which she can help with. And we are working through these different areas together, and we're both growing and we're both just finding our way through this neat journey and just being, closer to the Lord. We're finding our way spiritually and financially and physically and emotionally, all the things, right? And so I love how God brings people into our path and what we can do with that if we just trust Him and listen and read and learn and just grow and sit in the moments where He's teaching us. God stories. I really want to challenge y'all to look around and find some God stories. Now, one thing that we have learned that in the concept of trying to recruit for God stories, a lot of us want to give a report, more of a here's what we did and here's how God worked and here are the numbers. A lot of times we want to do numbers, a lot of times we want to have some kind of result. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'd love for you to just walk out every day looking for how God is placing people in other people's lives in order to help us both grow closer to Him and to fill a gap for someone. And I think about that even with our churches, thinking about the people sitting around you in the congregation, thinking about the people in your Bible study classes, or if you're the church leader, if you're looking out at the congregation, and then think about maybe about a mile out from your church door, all the way around. What is your community like? What do they need? Where are the gaps? How can we, as people of faith, individually, within our households and within our congregations, how can we be the light at a new level? How can we fill the gap of the community around us? What's missing and how can we be there? Because we can all get caught up in trying to do everything perfect for Sunday morning. We got all the schedule right. We've got all the songs picked out. We've rehearsed. We've plotted all this stuff out. And we work all week to make sure Sunday morning is precise, that everything works like it should, and totally miss the brokenness all around us. How much farther are we willing to go to let the the people within our reach suffer and struggle and just keep trying to find their way alone, suffering in silence, or just being frustrated, or maybe they're not kind sometimes, but I've heard, I think 3 times in the last few days, the phrase we all know, hurt people hurt people. So hurt people. If that's true, there's so many people are going through so much. There's despair. There's being overwhelmed. There's exhaustion. All of these things are happening, and we're just kind of ignoring it because we don't know what to do. We don't know how to help. Some of this stuff is so big, it's almost, please don't tell me, right? But we really need to pull back and think about that. Pastor Bill Wilkes at North Park Baptist Church wrote something the other day that I just really loved, and I grabbed a hold of it. I want to read it for you. We live in a world drowning in information, but starving for truth. People read self-help books, watch motivational videos, and listen to endless podcasts. Yet many remain anxious, confused, and defeated. There's only one reliable source of truth, according to Pastor Bill. Eternal and absolute truth is found in the Bible, the Word of God. And I think we would all agree with that. Pastor Bill goes on to say, in the Bible, God has given us a clear roadmap that leads to life, if only we will follow it. To abide in the Word is to abide in Jesus, because Jesus is the Word. John 1:1, John 1:14. So again, a world drowning in information, but starving for truth. Wow. We hope to make a difference through what we do. Some of our content deals with just trying to figure out how to navigate this whole sextortion and child exploitation 764 networks. Oh my goodness, I didn't even know what that was, but I had to learn. We're trying to report that for you. Some of it is dealing with estrangement in families. And what do you do in the meantime? We're working on resources for you for that. Church security, safety and security. We have that. Caregivers, how to survive caregiving. It's only going to get more intense. And then just your basic what you need to know in a calm, grace-filled, truth with compassion format. That's who we are. That's what we do. And we really are looking for the God stories. Send those to us. News at thealabamabaptist.org. And check us out. Stay tuned. Tabmedia.group. We'll be back next week. Hey, listeners, it's almost summertime, and if you're looking for that little extra resource for the kids, be sure to check out the Kids Edition newspaper produced by Tab Media Group. You can find information at tabmedia.group. Click on the Kids Edition circle. The Kids Edition, a publication, it comes out monthly, designed as an ecumenical resource, written to be welcoming for families across many Christian traditions. Each edition includes short articles, puzzles, jokes, and activities aimed at children. The goal is to create a simple entry point for family conversations about Christian values and everyday life lessons. These are great for parents, grandparents, homeschool organizations, Sunday school teachers, church leaders. They are fantastic at all levels, and you can order them in bulk. So definitely check those out. We also have a supplemental resource that you can order from Amazon with our Tab Kids Truth Series activity books. So you want to check those out. They are written by Denise George, and we are super excited to be partnering with all of our kids' resources. Tabmedia.group and the Tab Kids Truth Series on Amazon.